I literally had this crazy experience where it like activated my voice. And I don't know if I was really speaking light language, but I know that I had like out completely not in my brain experience where my voice got activated and I felt a huge breakthrough. And a lot of it was like declaring that this is my space where I am myself. This is my space where I get to express and create in a container that is full of self-love.
Whether it's spending 24 hours blindfolded, tapping into intuitive light language, or living in a remote, self-sufficient community in Costa Rica, Sky explores the depth of what it means to be magical humans. She's guided by this deep curiosity, a desire to let loose and have fun, and of course by facing a little bit of fear along the way. Sky's YouTube channel is one of Davina and I's favorites, especially when we are in need of a break, when we just want to chill, but also take in content that will keep us on this journey of spiritual discovery. For this conversation, I'm joined by Davina as we dive into what it means to be spiritually curious with Sky Cowans. Before jumping into it, I want to quickly mention Golly apple cider vinegar gummies. ACV is an ingredient that has been used for centuries as a traditional remedy for digestion, gut health, and appetite. For anyone who has tried drinking raw apple cider vinegar, you can probably attest to how disgusting that process can be. Luckily, Golly has formulated a delicious recipe, making it super easy to get your daily dose of B9 and B12 vitamins, and of course, apple cider vinegar. If you would like to give it a try, head to golly.com and use discount code DanielKudish, all in one word, to get up to 20% off your order, along with free shipping. Again, visit golly, GOLI.com, and use code DanielKudish at checkout. And now, our conversation with Sky Cowans.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. So nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, thanks for joining us on the podcast.
Thanks for letting me tag along.
I wanted to start just by expressing my gratitude for you and your videos, on the spiritual journey we've been on for the last 2 years that's filled with so much serious stuff and discipline that's required to be able to like take a break and watch your videos and just like enjoy ourselves on the couch while also taking in good information and having fun along the way. It's been something we've really, really enjoyed. So thank you for making this.
Happy to hear that.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be fun.
It is supposed to be fun.
I'm kidding.
Totally.
No, but you're a good reminder of that. You're a great reminder of that it can be really fun.
Yeah. Why else do we exist?
Totally.
Like in a video game, let's have a good time.
Yeah. What I appreciate the most about your videos, just how varied the subjects are. Like when you post a new video, I never know what to expect next from you.
Mm-hmm.
What have been maybe like your favorite experience that you've had recently?
Well, there's so many. I'm like, what did I do again? Actually, I love hanging out with the witches in Mexico and the Satanists. They were cool. That was so fun. People are, I think, very afraid of that video, but I don't know. It just was something I really enjoyed and learned a lot from. And it's just not really what you would think. Like, I feel that our judgments prevent us so much from actually starting to learn about different people and places and really gain a deeper understanding. So I actually loved those videos. I went to Mexico, to the witchcraft capital of Mexico, Catemaco. It's not a tourist place. It's hard to get to. It was a challenge to get there. Our flight got canceled. It was like 2 flights, a long car ride in streets that are not good for driving. Like it was a hike. And I was with these witches in that town, and this like Satanist, basically the head honcho of the town, like the Satanist king. And politicians, celebrities from Mexico go there on the equinox for this huge ceremony to his land. They do goat sacrifice. It's like a big deal. And yeah, I got to spend 2 days with these people. And yeah, I was terrified going into it, but this is a once in a lifetime experience to be able to spend time with people like this. And I learned a ton. It was super fun. I was like really put up against a lot of fears, and I just learned a lot, because the main thing that I learned is you are the only one that can control your energy, right? Like if I let anything outside of me start affecting me, yeah, it's gonna, like, it will affect me. But if I can be neutral, if I can go in with objective mindset and just be a witness and go in with non-judgment, then you're protected and you end up learning a lot.
Mm-hmm. Is that something that you did? Is that something you discovered like while you were there, or you went into it with like that mindset? I'm gonna have no judgment, open mind, or once you got there and you started feeling a little bit scared, you were like, hold on, let me kind of protect my own energies here.
No, I was more scared before than when I was there. But obviously when I was there, I was going into like an underground devil lair with a giant statue of the devil. So yeah, I was kind of scared of that, but it wasn't actually that big of a deal. Like looking back on it, it's just, again, we're just humans playing, you know, we're just humans having this experience, and their culture is based on thousands of years of all sorts of different things that have happened in that area. And there's a, like, I wanted to understand why they're doing this, because there's a reason. And so I go into every experience with trying to shift my perspective from judgment to curiosity, because it's natural that we have judgment as human beings, but that's my entire mission. And the entire reason I make these videos is to try and shift my perspective from judgment to curiosity. But that doesn't mean that you believe some, like, everything someone says. Curiosity doesn't mean, oh, I'm just going to believe all of this and then like I'm going to practice this. It's just being open to learning and listening. And I don't have to become a Satanist. I don't have to resonate with what they say. I don't have to agree with what they say at all. I could have completely different belief system, but as long as I'm listening and curious, I will learn so much more. And the judgment is actually my own like suffering and my own stuff to work on. It's like a mirror of things I'm uncomfortable with in myself.
Mm-hmm. What a different world we would live in if everyone, instead of judgment, looked at things through a curiosity lens.
Yeah, we have like a massive issue on the planet with all this division, and a lot of it is just judgment. Yeah. It's just, which stems from fear.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you started talking about magic right away, because it's one of the things I really wanted to talk to you about. You have done a lot of different types of videos with different types of people who work with magic. I'm just curious about kind of what your perception is on magic and how that's maybe changed throughout the course of your videos.
Yes. Well, I didn't know anything about it, except I did grow up in Beverly, Massachusetts, which is the town next to the witch city, Salem, which is the witchcraft capital of America. So actually, I was exposed to it a lot growing up, but I was really into it when I was little. And then I kind of just got scared of it because of movies and television. And then I made a video about some witches here in Los Angeles, because I was doing, I think it was like Halloween, and I wanted to do some type of Halloween video, and I knew that they were real practicing witches here. So I found a group of them, and it really completely changed my perspective entirely, because what I saw was that it wasn't scary, and that they were practicing magic for several different reasons. I think different practitioners have different reasons why they resonate with magic and practice it. I met some witches that use it for empowerment and manifestation, to really manifest the life of their dreams and call in desires. And it's like from an empowered place. And then some magic practitioners that just really love the history of magic, and they love doing rituals to honor the elements and nature, and they work with the covens, and they have really sacred rituals that are like passing on this wisdom that has sort of been lost or forced underground over the years, because it's been demonized. And so, yeah, that was the start of it. And then I started doing videos with a witch who is really using magic for manifestation. And I just started trying it, and it actually worked. And I was like, oh, it works. That's cool. It works like a lot. And so it doesn't always work. It's like Wi-Fi signal. Like, it's not always going to be perfect, but it's definitely worked for me a lot doing different magic practices. And then I realized it's literally just using some type of sacred ceremony to harness your intention, so it makes it more powerful. It's like using your focus and your attention on a specific intention with like a ceremonial element and some type of ritual element to make it sacred, so then it amplifies that intention. And I mean, from my experience studying the law of attraction, studying manifestation, that's literally what it is. So magic is the same kind of thing, but it's there's a huge umbrella of magic. Like, witchcraft is like the religion. There's Christianity, there's Buddhism, and underneath all of those, there's tons of different subsets of these different religious beliefs. So it's the same with witchcraft. There's like all over the world, there's different types of practices. It's like a huge umbrella, and there's tons of different ways to do it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I've witnessed it work. I have seen why people do it. They feel really empowered by it. And yeah, I didn't want to just do videos about like fluffy spiritual stuff and love and light magic. I was like, oh, I want to like see what all of the, like, what are the Satanists doing? And what are these witches who do dark magic? Like, what are they like, and why do they do that? Because that's happening. It's like, that's a reality. So I don't want to ignore what is still happening, you know? But yeah, it's been a really interesting journey, and I feel more in touch with my intuition than I ever have been by doing these different types of practices. And it's literally just working with the elements of nature, which are within all of us.
Something you were saying about, you know, the witches being demonized in the past and stuff. I was reading a book to our daughter yesterday, and it's The Soup Witch, you know, which comes if you don't eat your soup. And as I was reading it, I was like, damn, this is like so bad. And like, I'm reading this to my daughter, who, you know, technically will be a witch, you know, one day. And like, she's being conditioned to like fear it already. And I don't know, there's so much work, you know, that needs to be done or undone, depending how you want to look at it.
We have limited options. We live in Costa Rica. We have limited book options out here. So but maybe we'll vet their books a little better. But on the subject of our kids and magic, I talked to our son who's almost 8. He's like, we talk about magic all the time. And I think kids are super magical and already. And so I talk to him about it all the time. And we've both done plant medicine, and he even knows about our experiences with plant medicine. And I told him, like, for me, experiencing ayahuasca allowed me to believe in magic in a way that I could never go back to not believing in magic. And the me who didn't believe in magic was the me who was susceptible to depression and anxiety and all of this other stuff. And like, to forget that we are magical and that we're capable of this, it's such a crime against humanity to not be able to tap into that part of ourselves. At least for me, it's been huge in just improving my just my well-being.
Yeah, it's like a mental health self-care practice for me, at least.
Totally.
And that's beautiful that you have children that you get to talk to openly about this and have discussions openly and honestly, rather than trying to hide your experience from them with plant medicine, or, you know, like having that type of honest communication with young children is really beautiful. And it's like, we're all just programmed, conditioned beings. And so we had to unlearn so much.
I was telling, I'm doing Bufo in 2 days, you know, which the strongest psychedelic you can take. And I was telling Max about it. And
sorry, there's a garbage truck. I worked in my garage. Hopefully it's not loud.
We just had
I couldn't hear what you said because it just drove
I
by.
was saying I'm doing Bufo in 2 days, and I was telling Max about what it is. And
Yeah.
when he found out that you basically get to die and come back and be reborn, he's like, I want to do that. So.
It's frightening. It's frightening sometimes how interested he is in psychedelics.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's so funny.
One thing I wanted to ask you, speaking about kids and curiosity, you must have been an incredibly curious child. What were you like as a kid?
Yeah, I definitely was. I, as a child, was so excited about everything. I was so into all sorts of stuff. I'm like very similar to how I am now, I guess. But then there was a period of time where I lost that sort of inner child joy. And then I feel like I've reinvigorated it over the last couple of years, because I definitely feel like during high school, college was not so present. But when I was little, I did so many things. Like I played soccer and I did theater and was making videos and I was doing art all the time and I loved nature. And yeah, I remember my mom didn't like let us have cable for a long time, so I was just out playing a lot. And we would make, me and my brothers, I have three brothers, and we would always be like making our own games and very imaginative things. Like we would come up with these very extreme obstacle courses in my backyard, and I was doing like lemonade stands and like selling my bracelets on the side of the street. Like, I don't know, I would do all sorts of random stuff. We would do plays and charge our relatives to come see the play. Very entrepreneurial. Yeah, for sure. I would like sell all sorts, like I would make bracelets and like go down to the main road and just set up a stand and like sell my bracelets. And we would do all sorts of games and stuff, and lots of manhunt and like outdoor games. So I loved playing outside and doing imaginative, like just creating little things, like creating. Yeah.
Yeah. How did that transition, like how did spirituality find you, or how did you kind of come back to, yeah, just tapping into this deeper part of yourself?
Well, I definitely was pretty lost for a little while. When I was in college, for sure, I was studying news and I was like massively depressed, especially when I interned at a news station. I was working the overnight shift. And it was like really intense. And I would go out with reporters and, you're just covering like fires and stabbings and shootings. And like, it was so depressing. And I was also like waitressing on the side, and just my sleep was all over the place. And I was not happy. And then I had been practicing yoga for a while, because I found yoga when I was 15, and that actually made a huge difference, because I didn't know the yoga. I was just got into it via the Western like fitness kind of yoga practice, like hot power yoga. I was addicted to it because it felt so good in my body. And then over time, it just started changing the way I think. And then I started getting into more of yogic philosophy. And then when I was in college and I was going through that time, I was like, yoga makes me feel better, so I'm just going to go to yoga as much as I can. And I just got on my yoga mat as much as I possibly could. And that really helped me a lot. And I think it's through my yoga practice that I found spirituality, because when I did my yoga teacher training, that was when I was really exposed to bhakti yoga and kirtan and singing mantras and like deep meditation and yogic philosophy. And it was like so deep into that it just completely shifted my entire perspective. And I had like a super like massive transformation through those practices. And so it was really through yoga, which That's why I always say, like, there's literally nothing wrong with yoga being made more trendy, because it's like a gateway point. So I never would have been on this path or been able to connect with like the deeper yogic philosophy and the truth of the practice if I hadn't had the gateway point through hot power yoga. Like, it's cool that it's accessible to so many people and so many Westerners. And that's often why a lot of yogic practitioners from the East, they are like, we need to bring this to the West. We need these practices to be shared in America and the Western world because it's necessary. And so, yeah, I'm very grateful for that. And I still am like, that yoga studio, I'm so, so grateful, because I don't know like who I would be without that experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yoga was a big part of my journey as well. Like when the pandemic started, we have a business with like over 100 employees in Montreal, and like the sheer panic that took over when, we had to start laying people off and our revenue shot down to like nothing. Like I turned to yoga, and it really calmed me down on a daily basis, and then led me to breath work, and then led me to all this other stuff that has really changed my life for the better over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a world that, asks a lot of you, as I'm sure it does,
as a creator, especially.
Yeah. And where, your deadlines are kind of self-imposed, right? How do you take time for yourself, and how do you take care of Sky?
Yeah, it's crazy because being a creator is it's like a constant death and rebirth, because when you're so emotionally connected to your creations, when you're sharing, like I'm sharing these really profound kind of experiences I'm going through, and I'm so deeply connected to the videos I create, it can be really intense because I'm constantly going through like this letting go and this death and rebirth of creation all the time, and on the timeline of like on fast timelines, because although deadlines are self-imposed, if you want to be a creator full-time, the reality is that the platforms demand consistency. And I know after a certain number of days, I'm gonna get punished by YouTube, like, which hopefully there's a new paradigm that is happening, where we're not as locked down by these big tech giants. And I think with Web3 models, I think with more decentralized platforms happening, it will hopefully be better for creators, because right now it is sort of like I'm working for YouTube, and I feel like I have to keep up with that algorithm. But it's good because it keeps me consistently creating as well. And I mean, that's how I've been able to build this, is say by committing to posting every week. For 2 years, I'm posted every week, no matter what. And yeah, it definitely was not so balanced for that time. But the thing is, like, I love making videos, so I don't really view it as work, even though it can be arduous work because you're like editing for hours. But if you love doing it, then, but over time that definitely has led to several like types of burnout different times. But now I'm way more balanced with it, and I definitely feel like I take plenty of time for myself and to have a balanced life. But it's taken a while to figure that out. But like I do digital detoxes, as much as I can every couple of months. I don't really spend a lot of time on my phone, actually. Like I do for work, but then it's always not like I haven't even looked at my phone yet today. Like I did my morning routine before I got on this call, and I haven't even turned on my phone yet, because I won't turn it on till I do my morning routine. And then on the weekends, I take weekends off for the most part, unless like I have to do certain project or something. But like I try and take weekends off and go on trips, and yeah, also just make time to have fun. But yeah, it's definitely, I mean, making videos is a lot of work. So I'm still working on that. And like, it's definitely been a lot of figuring out delegation and outsourcing, which has been so challenging for me because I'm so particular about my videos and the editing style, but it's just not realistic to keep doing it all myself. So I've been really focused on that, and that's been super helpful.
Yeah, outsourcing is an act of self-care, really.
Yeah, totally.
You talked about your morning routine, and I've been wanting to ask you about the Wim Hof method. If you still are doing your ice baths and your cold immersion therapy, are you still doing this?
Well, yeah, I do. In the winter, I go in the ocean because it's way more fun than going in a meat freezer. Yeah. And in the winter here in California, the ocean is definitely cold enough. It's probably just as cold. No, maybe it's a little warmer, but it's cold in the ocean. So I just went in this morning. I do the ocean now, and then in the summer I use the ice bath. But yeah, it's like so critical for me to do that.
I had
It
a
makes
really
massive difference in my mental health.
I had a really profound experience in an ice bath just a week ago. I had a big emotional release, just so much fear that had been built up, and going into there, I sobbed. I was in there for 5 minutes and I just cried for probably at least half of that time. It just felt so good. So necessary. And it's just, I rewatched your video recently with Wim Hof when you went to the Czech Republic and hiked the mountain, snowy mountain in shorts. And there's something that stood out to me about the experience. I think you said something about like seeking discomfort, that the experience was about seeking discomfort. I just kind of wanted to hear how that plays a role in your life, the idea of seeking discomfort, of making yourself uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, that seek discomfort is literally the what's the word, tagline of the channel that I did that video with yesterday. Like that is, they have a merch line, like that's trademarked, like seek discomfort. I did not like make that up. But in the video, since it was a collab with them, like obviously it was so much about that, and it has had a massive impact on my life, and it is definitely something that I sort of live by in a lot of ways, in addition to the curiosity thing. It is, I think, so important to like going to into the situation with the Satanists and witches in Mexico was seeking discomfort. I was extremely uncomfortable going into that situation, but I went through it anyways. So yeah, I do lots of things. I like getting up in the morning, getting up early when it's cold and going out to work out, going in the ocean. It's not so comfortable, but it's just, it builds mental strength. It, I think, just makes other things seem less like the end of the world, you know, like you just start to handle life more easily when you're actually actively seeking discomfort to better manage your mind. It's literally just about learning how to manage this crazy mind that we have. So physical discomfort does that, and, you know, seeking out uncomfortable conversations and being honest. Like it's pretty uncomfortable to be honest sometimes, but that's been one of my biggest, I mean, it is like my number one value is honesty. And it's been one thing that I've been like really working on practicing all the time, is even if I'm super uncomfortable, to be so honest and radically honest. Can I do it anyways? That's another form of seeking discomfort. So it like it plays into literally every area of my life, I think, at this point.
How do you draw the line with like setting boundaries and still kind of going out and wanting to be uncomfortable? Like it's something that I personally struggle with. Like, am I pushing myself beyond something, or is this like a growth edge that I need to be expanding?
Yeah, well, that's so individual. That's so personal. That's going to be completely different for every person. So there's no right or wrong. It's like what it's feeling into what is right for you. And it's all intuitive. it's another practice of intuition, because fear is designed to keep us alive. So it's not something to ignore. It's something to take very seriously, and also take it with a grain of salt, because it's such a dichotomy, because like our brain is designed to send fear signals so we stay alive and it keeps us safe. But at the same time, like we kind of live in a more coddled world now, physically especially, where like our ancestors were facing a lot more discomfort in nature. And so evolutionarily, like if we can get back to some of that primal instinct, then we start to realize we're a lot stronger than we think. But I think it's just really tuning into your intuition and like knowing when to go through. Like when I go back to this Mexico thing, because I literally almost canceled the trip because our flight got canceled, and I was like, is this a sign we're not supposed to go? And I was already terrified. I already was doubting it, but I knew that intuitively it was a fear I needed to follow. And I came out alive with a great story and a lot of learning, and amazing experience. And it was so fun. I'm so happy I went. So yeah, I think it's just really tuning into your intuition, because like there definitely is a boundary. Like there's totally a time to say like, no, I'm good on that, like being reckless is not what it's about.
Right. Yeah, we're both being trained as breathwork facilitators right now with different teachers. And my teacher talks about coming up to fear in breathwork and just asking yourself, am I in danger or am I in fear right now? I find that very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And as women, we have a very strong intuition with that, because I've experienced this with certain situations, my intuition being like, stop, like go the other way. And so women tend to have like a really strong intuition when it comes to fear, that's like designed to keep us safe and alive.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is, I guess, a question for both of you, but what does intuition feel like in your body? Because I struggle with that. My mind is like very active, very loud. So I oftentimes struggle to differentiate what is deep, like real intuition, what is my mind just rationalizing things.
Yeah. Well, for me, I mean, my gut is very much where I feel things, and the womb is for me, I feel a lot of womb energy. Like I know what it feels like in my womb to feel a yes, and what it's like to feel a no. And it's something you can train. Like I've done some workshops on understanding what a yes and a no feels like in the body. And so it's something that you can totally train, but it really does take getting beyond the analytical mind. And it's not something that I feel up here. It's all in my body.
Yeah, totally. I've also done what a yes feels like, what a no feels like in the body kind of exercises. One thing I've noticed for myself is I can't feel it if I'm in the mind. Like I really need to take the time to, like, if I'm out of alignment, there's been a lot of stress and things have been busy, I'm less likely to be able to really tune into my intuition. Like I need to go to nature, I need to get still, and I need to get quiet in order to hear that voice. And that's where I know I can hear it. That's where it's speaking. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Going to nature is a great thing to do. It will like cut the noise, and then it has a lot of answers to give us.
Totally. Yeah. You talk about going to the ocean. We also, it's not cold here, but I do go to the ocean as often as possible here. It's just a minute down the road where we are right now. And yeah, I call it ocean medicine. When I'm feeling all like up in my head, I just go in there and just like surrender to the ocean. It has so much wisdom and it just kind of resets me. And then I feel whole again. It's amazing. I don't want to hijack your questions anymore.
No, you're good. No, I was also going to talk about like stepping out of the comfort zone, and like that's really where like a lot of the life's golden nuggets reside. It's like when we are able to just push through that bit of fear that might be trying to protect us, on some level, but really that's where all of the good stuff lives. Yeah.
Yes.
There's so much power in like the word of mouth nowadays, I feel.
Yeah.
You know, we've become so reliant on like the social media platforms, almost like too much, you know, for them to like do the promotion for us. But these algorithms like can be figured out. I've personally given up on them. I think you
I've
have also.
absolutely given up 100%.
You know, but
I
now
know.
now as we've gone back to like doing something a little bit more simple, which is like breath work, like I did, you know, guided my first experience last week, and there was like 5 people, and I'm doing another one this week, and now there's 10 people, and 3 of the people who were there last week are coming back with their husbands. And you know, I'm
Mhm.
just like seeing the power of the word of mouth going from like 5 to 12 people. I'm like, whoa, this is exciting. This still
Yeah.
works, you know, such a simpler way.
Awesome.
So hopefully
That's
this
beautiful.
podcast can sort of serve as that word of mouth for your
Yeah,
channel as well.
totally. Yeah, what are you looking for support with?
I don't know, like the podcast is like, thank you for asking, first of all. The podcast is such a personal journey for me. Like I've struggled with like expressing myself and using my voice my entire life. And it's
Mm,
like it's a limiting belief at this point that I'm really trying to undo. And it's been a
mhm,
lot of work over the last year, and I have breakthrough moments, and then I still go back to moments of deep struggle.
mm.
So I'm not trying to achieve anything with this podcast. Like anyone who listens to it, who it helps, I'm just so grateful for that.
Oh,
Otherwise, it's really just for me to practice my voice and practice thinking in real time and feeling in real time, and really
yeah.
just
Your
doing the,
intuition.
yeah,
Yeah. A lot of conversation is intuition too.
yeah.
Yes. Beautiful. Yeah, it's such a great thing we have to be able to practice our expression in this way, because that's also a lot of what the YouTube channel has been for me, is just a personal journey of getting to express myself and being more comfortable in that, and being brave in just really showing who I am and expressing my voice, and just my sharing my creativity and my passion, and letting go of any fear of judgment around it. It's like that's a beautiful practice in and of itself, to just create and share it, and then just really let go of the fear of how it's perceived, because like we literally can't control that.
I
Mhm.
feel that when I watch your videos. Like, I admire you so much for how confident you are, and not just like to be in front of the camera, but even with like regards to some of the subjects you're with. Sometimes they're very like eccentric or like in your face kind of, and you're always like, yeah, let's do this weird thing you're
Mhm.
suggesting us that we do. And I just admire that so much. You seem so like at ease with it and just genuinely very open to these experiences.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. It's definitely a practice, it's been a process of opening up more and more. But I think what I've learned is it's just more fun for me to show up that way. And I'm definitely not always confident. Like I have fear every time I post a video. I'm like, what are people going to think of this? This is
Mhm.
crazy. And then I just let it go. I'm like, oh, well, post.
How do you get over like that, like when it comes to judgment? Because you put yourself out there so much, and I'm assuming you don't always have not everything is always well received.
Mhm.
How do you handle that?
Um, hmm. Well, it's just recognizing that the brain wants to focus on the negative, and it wants, even if I have so many comments and emails and DMs of people who have been really impacted by the channel, if there's a couple mean comments or people that are saying things that aren't true or whatever it is, you always want to go to that, because it's like, it's just how we're hardwired, because it's the rejection from the tribe that is very scary, because that's what would not be good if we were in like a more of that setting. Rejection from the tribe equals death.
Yeah.
Bad.
Hmm.
So your brain just like goes straight to that. But what I've learned is to have awareness around it, and then um just really embodying like I am I am more and more just going to step into who I am take it or leave it. The more that I can be good with myself, the more the external judgment does not affect me. So it's literally like an internal self-love process. And just understanding myself on a deeper level and who I am, what I'm about, what I'm here to share, what mission I'm on. And the more that I anchor that in and I let that make all my decisions and I let myself come from creating in that place, you know, it gets easier to manage that. But then there's also totally a limiting belief that maybe is subconsciously keeping me safe because, you know, even though I maybe consciously I want the channel to grow and I want to be competing with the other big channels on YouTube and I would love 1 million subscribers, etc., and to reach those types of goals, that's a lot more scary because then you're like really opening yourself up to tons of criticism and that's terrifying. So it's like, yeah, just being aware of that. And then really, again, the more that I'm in tune with myself, it won't affect me. So it's like little baby steps, you know?
Yeah.
I got a
And
full
I
body
don't
yes
think-
when you said that. Sorry about
Yeah.
like, that it comes from you. Like the more
Mhm.
comfortable you are with yourself, the more self-love you give yourself, and that's where you build that comfortable container in which you can express and be yourself and be comfortable with that and be less affected by what others have to say about it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I had an experience recently because I posted this video that looked crazy. I mean, it was at the end of last year and it was with this girl who speaks light language. And I still don't even fully understand. I don't even like fully understand it. I literally had this crazy experience where it like activated my voice. And I don't know if I was really speaking light language, but I know that I had like a complete, not in my head, like out completely not in my brain experience where my voice got activated and I felt a huge breakthrough. And I sort of was just like in other sounds, light language, whatever you want to call it. I was like going through this whole process. And a lot of it was like declaring that this is my space where I am myself. This is my space where I get to express and create in a container that is full of self-love. This is like my space to do it. I don't care what people think. I'm going to lay it out there. I'm going to throw it. I'm going to share my heart. I'm going to share this. And that was really powerful for me to like declare it and to be doing something that was so weird to me. I didn't even know what the hell was going on really. But I'm just like, that's what a lot of people don't understand if they haven't maybe done these types of experiences or healing work, is like you go into a different state. You're in like a different type of brainwave state. You're in a trance. You're like not in the analytical brain. And it's really beyond what we can really analyze with our minds. So anyways, that I posted that video and so many people resonated so deeply with that. Like they were, it blew me away to see the comments and see the resonance and how much it really spoke to people. And then some guy did like he did a commentary and he was just like making fun of it. And I thought it was hilarious. I literally did not affect me. I was like, this is great. And it's going to bring way more views to the video. So
Yeah, no
amazing.
kidding.
Yeah, that's so funny.
It's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, I literally didn't, it was interesting. I was like, this is cool. I don't feel affected. I feel this is funny and like he's valid in saying what he's saying, you know?
There's always like an alternate version of ourselves that probably would feel that way too, you know, if you hadn't experienced it yourself.
Yeah, totally.
I feel like the light language is so, I don't know, to me it's like valid, even from like an analytical standpoint. Like let's say like our souls come from the cosmos, the universe.
Let's say
our soul has been in other places, in other planets. We're speaking the English language here right now, but to anybody who's not from here, like it sounds like fucking gibberish, you know, like
right.
And so like what was coming through you was just like a language from another place that your soul has visited. I don't know, it's like not such a big deal. I don't know why people make it
totally. Well, that's the sort of the way I see it too. And even if it's not a alien language, just the expression of your voice with sounds that are beyond human language is healing.
Yeah.
because words have so much meaning behind them, and we're always trying to analyze words. And if you can just let your voice speak in sounds, almost like when little kids just start talking gibberish to each other, it just feels good. It just feels freeing. And so that alone is valid enough for me to like give light language some credit. Like it really helped me activate my voice in a new way. And yeah, maybe it is coming from another part of the galaxy, and maybe it is a language that my soul had at one time. I have no clue. I just know it felt good, and it was a beautiful experience, and it was fun to document it, and I wasn't expecting it, and then it was scary for me to share it, and I did it anyways. And then I was, you build up a little more confidence every time you share, even though you're scared.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, making that progress requires patience. Like, same with like once you set an intention and you're trying to manifest something, like you have to give things time. We're just always wanting for things to go quickly and like results to be instant. But magic isn't like about making things appear out of thin air, like right in front of us. It's
like building a muscle.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
There's a question I like to ask all of my guests, and it's, what is spirituality for you?
That's a good question. Spirituality. Well, for me, we are spirit. We're mind, body, spirit. I fully believe there's something more than just our brain and our body. There's some type of energy we hold that's the soul, that is spirit, that's connected to divine spirit. So spirituality for me is literally just the exploration of what that is. And it's the process of learning what that is and discovering it. And that's really what it means for me. It's just an exploration of my soul.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so beautiful.
How can people connect with you?
YouTube is Sky Life. I also have a Discord where there's a lot of cool stuff going on, and the community's connecting with each other, and there's all sorts of events and clubs happening. So if you want to get deeper into the exploration of your soul, that's a great place to go. And my Instagram's at Sky Cowans, and on TikTok it's at Sky Cowans. I post lots of stuff there too. So
damn, that's like the one place where I don't follow you yet, but I never got into TikTok.
We're too old. We're in our mid-30s.
Well, no, you're not. There's like Barefoot Sue is on TikTok.
Oh,
she's 65.
I'm sold.
Okay, fine. We'll go for Barefoot Sue.
Yeah. That video is amazing too, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah. I love that one. Love her.
I love the two of you together.
Yeah.
It was like you were long lost, like siblings or something, finding each other again. It was like palpable through the video. I could feel it.
I know. I felt such a deep connection with that woman.
You could see it. I told Daniel, you guys could have your own show. It'd be so entertaining.
I know. Totally.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time. Please keep making videos.
Yes.
Please know that they really resonate with people and really enjoy watching them. So
thank you.
Keep going.
That means a lot. Yeah, this was so fun. Also keep doing what you're doing, sharing all this amazing wisdom. And it's just so great to connect. And let me know how I can keep supporting you. And thanks for this time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for letting me tag along.
Have a beautiful
great.
day.
Bye.
Bye.